Hello, and welcome to the Gameplay Cast review for Disney Star Wars The Acolyte, Episode 3, Destiny. In this video, we're going to review the third episode of the show produced by Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant, Leslie Headland. This is the episode ironically called Destiny that has been much tipped to be the final nail in the coffin for Disney Star Wars. And by the end of this video, we shall know the truth. So without further ado, let's get into the episode breakdown. We start the episode 16 years later with Good Twin sitting under an alien tree with weird glowing butterfly things. Where have I seen something like this before? For fuck's sake, the setting here is literally lifted straight out of Avatar. Anyway, the girls use force powers on the Avatar seed butterfly things, and Bad Twin seems to try and kill one of them or something, which annoys Good Twin, and then they go off back home as they might get in trouble for wandering off. This opening is mainly not very good child acting and is really quite hard to watch. Anyway, proud lesbian Mother One appears and tells the girls off for wandering. They arrive back home at this gigantic stone fortress built into the top of a literal mountain. Remember this. And also, note that a fortress surely has guarded entrances, so how did two children manage to escape pretty much unnoticed? Anyway, inside is lesbian Disneyland. There are literally zero males present, and we go full on same-sex parenting mode. You know, whatever. Some people today do grow up with same-sex parents, and you can feel how you want about it. But this soap opera drama is so forced and misplaced in Star Wars. It really doesn't add anything to the narrative at all. It's just eye-rolling and annoying to watch. Eventually the girls go for some training for their up-and-coming Ascension ceremony with proud lesbian Mother 2. And here is the scene that I think a lot of people are unhappy about, where PLM2 describes the Force as follows.
Some call it a force and claim to use it. But we know the thread is not a power you wield. Pull the thread, change everything. It ties you to your destiny. It binds you to others.
In all honesty, this thread malarkey isn't as upsetting as the clunky rip-off of Yoda's Force description from The Empire Strikes Back.
For my ally is the Force, and a powerful ally it is. Life creates it, makes it grow. Its energy surrounds us and binds us. Luminous beings, so not this crude matter.
To me, I see the thread thing as the Witcher's interpretation of the Force, and not necessarily a full rewrite. That doesn't make it good though. It's yet another ripped off scene, and a literal puppet delivered the original with more gravitas than the living, breathing actress. There is also the small matter of them using the Force to magically conceive a child. This, I suppose, is a perversion of the Force in general, since the Force, from a Jedi perspective at least, is supposed to represent balance and peace. So it wouldn't be able to be used to make magic children. I think we're just off in lesbian Disneyland here, and they're just doing whatever. I'm so past caring with this stuff that it has no real impact to me, but making the Force gay, I suppose, is the final insult they can throw at male fans. I don't know. Not content with ripping off Yoda's dialogue, the Force, the thread, is now more like airbending. As for the rest of the show, our coven of lesbians use airbending hand gestures to activate Force powers. Except when the plot doesn't need them to. Remember this also. We then go to some brainwashing, parenting scene that is just toe-curlingly bad. The two girls are having a disagreement because Good Twin isn't sure about the ceremony, but Bad Twin is 100% convinced. More truly awful child acting that I zoned out of. Until PLM2 comes in and literally forces them to say they love each other while making them hold hands. This just comes across as kinda creepy and weird.
We were on the brink of extinction. The gift of life
the power of
Moving swiftly on to the Ascension ceremony, which seems to start off as some kind of prelude to a lesbian orgy, where all the witches make weird noises and hand gestures while looking longingly at PLM2. Until two minors enter and ruin the vibe, that is. Honestly, nothing in this episode so far has felt even the slightest bit Star Wars. We get more boring and meaningless dialogue about being brought to the brink of extinction, and all I can think at this point is, when you have no male partners or even members just for breeding, you totally did that to yourself. Like if 30 lesbians went off into the wilderness with no men and no outside contact occurred in 100 years, they would all be dead. It's called scientific fact, Leslie. Fact being the key word. Anyway, the scene is just cringe as f***. The twins enter with another set of awful costumes. There's more god-awful chanting and hand-waving, culminating with Bad Twin getting a Force-deformed forehead, which I assume is supposed to be a tattoo. Again, this isn't how the Force works, but Disney Star Wars, I mean, Star Thing, innit, bro? Yeah, I suppose it is. We then thankfully get interrupted by some high elves from Lord of the Rings.
Send for the king.
Yet more cheap, poorly executed rip-offs. They even have bows. Apparently the Jedi, who they were hiding from, are coming now. So remember when I said, remember that the lesbian coven exists in a gigantic fortress built on top of a mountain? Yeah? So how in any way, shape or form would the Jedi miss this? There's no cloaking technology, it's not shaped like a mountain, and it's clearly visible for hundreds of miles around. How would the Jedi not find your base? Honestly, this has just reached full retard.
You're serious? You don't know? Everybody knows you never go full retard.
Cue the next scene, and the Jedi arrive instantaneously. There mustn't be a front door on this massive fortress. They exchange some basic dialogue, which seems to imply that Jedi are now Galactic Child Services or something, as they have the right to test all children for Jedi training. It was about now I remembered Master Self-Delete from the last episode, who is only a Padawan and looks about 12 here, which means in 13 years he went from a Padawan to a Jedi Master. No wonder Anakin was pissed in the prequels. We go back to political messaging with the line, "Where is their father?" Just so that PLM2 can smugly reply, "They don't have one."
Yes, yes.
It is your destiny.
She also now mind controls Master Self-Delete without any movement or effort. Remember, all their thread powers previously required hand gestures, now they don't. This turns him into an Asari from Mass Effect as his eyes turn black. Weirdly, they do this when they're having sex, so maybe she's literally mind-fucking him. Oh, and don't expect anything from Carrie-Anne Moss, by the way. I wonder if she was paid by the word here, because she says a couple of lines and then basically leaves Master Squid Games to do all the heavy lifting. Eventually the Coven agrees to let the girls be tested by the Jedi, and so thankfully this whole debacle ends, and we move on to a mother's meeting. Literally. More poor dialogue, and then an old lesbian who looks like an orange peel appears out of nowhere. Clearly the fact that she looks like a decomposing orange must make her wise, so she thankfully cuts to the point. We then get more mother-daughter bits, which maybe slips into more messaging.
This isn't about good or bad. This is about power and who is allowed to use it.
Boring!
You could say this is just a Sith way of thinking, but at this point, I don't think the show knows what Sith are any more than they know what Star Wars is. She also claims Good Twin is a powerful child, yet in the future, after several years of Jedi training, we don't see any evidence she can even use the Force. Thankfully, we are nearing the end of the episode, and we get the Jedi tests, which are the same tests Anakin underwent in front of the Jedi Council in The Phantom Menace. I'm honestly surprised we didn't get the same exact test, like with the speeder and everything. We get more dreadful child acting, and obviously because Chewbacca did repairs on the Millennium Falcon, Budget Chewie is also busy doing repairs outside of the Jedi ship. Why a Jedi starship or any of their equipment would need to be maintained in the field like this is beyond me. It makes sense that Han and Chewie maintained the Falcon, as they had limited resources and had significantly customized the ship for illegal purposes.
No! This one goes there, that one goes there, right?
Here we have the Jedi at the height of their power, so probably limitless resources and droids to do maintenance for them. God damn it, I'm not thinking Disney Star Wars again, am I? No, you are not, sir. I'll never get used to this. The Coven reconvenes with PLM-1, and we just get yet more dull narrative, but after dissing the Force again, PLM-2 gives Good Twin permission to become a Jedi. Back in her room now, Good Twin is packing until Bad Twin comes in, annoyed that she wants to leave, and then says she will kill her. She then locks her in their room, and actually tries to kill her by throwing a lantern at the door, which breaks and ignites, causing a fire. Now I'm starting to think Leslie and the team really don't understand how fire works, because after the fire in space in the last episode, we now get flammable stone and metal. Although the fuel in the lantern would certainly burn, as I said, the fortress is made of stone and the door is made of metal. None of these things would burn, so once the fuel was burnt up, this fire would likely go out. Equally, is there no fire suppression systems in this place? No emergency droids or sensors? Anyway, Good Twin escapes into what appears to be the generator room, and I couldn't tell if it's implied that Bad Twin destroys the generator or not. If it is, Jesus, this is ridiculous. However, there was a scene before this where someone was screaming from a floor above Good Twin's head, so either this fire was the most aggressive fire ever and burnt through the stone fortress in minutes, or the Coven and the Jedi came to armed conflict above. Given the previous episodes, it seems likely that this is the sin of the Jedi that was hinted at, as the reason why Master Self-Delete felt guilty. Unless he spent the last 16 years trying to find someone to mind f him again. Good Twin is saved by Master Squid Games, who forgets he has the Force, as based on episode 1 of this very series, he could have probably easily used the Force to save both kids. So in actuality, Master Squid Games lets Bad Twin fall down the hole and saves Good Twin, who eventually wakes up on the Jedi ship on the way to Coruscant. A question from my side here is, if the destruction of the Coven wasn't the fire, then how did the Jedi even know about the fire Bad Twin started? What I mean is, if they were fighting with the witches, how did they know the Bad Sister caused a fire to tell Good Twin that that was the reason for the destruction? Did Master Squid Game's mind probe Good Twin while she was sleeping? Or maybe this is just all wishful thinking on my part, trying to create logic where there isn't any. I don't know, if this is just the fire, I don't really understand what the Jedi have to feel guilty about, particularly Master Torben, i.e. Master Self-Delete. It doesn't make any sense why he would do what he would do. So, as much of a write-off as this episode is, I hope there's more to this. Who knows? This titan of storytelling then finally concludes with Bad Twin reappearing, apparently looking for Good Twin where the episode started, at the Avatar Tree. Holy shit, that was a chore. Watching this and then going back through it was tough. Honestly, I've tried to be neutral about this episode, and while I'm sure the whole thread Force and twin conception debates will be in full swing by now, the episode was just terrible. There is literally nothing here. It's a mishmash of scenes taken from other far superior stories, slathered in the message and farted out onto our screens. Sometimes, series do need narrative-heavy episodes to set things up and build suspense and tension. But here, honestly, it's 38 minutes of nothing. Well, not quite nothing. 38 minutes of lesbian witches of the thread. The acting is garbage, as is the narrative. There's not even any Jedi Fu action or lightsaber shiny to distract people. I actually can't think of a single aspect of this episode that I liked or that stood out as good. It was a chore to watch, and a watch that I would describe as a Frankenstein's monster of scenes clumsily copied and stitched together. A monster that simultaneously and deliberately shat on all things Star Wars. Therefore this episode is a 1 out of 10. It's not even a 1 out of 10 because they rebranded and revised the Force into the thread. I think it's a fair argument to say that this is just how these lesbian witches see it. Making the thread gay is probably a juvenile attack by Leslie and her writing staff, but it comes across as just hilariously dumb and funny to me. Moreover, I'm not even outraged by the messaging. To quote Az from Heels vs Babyface, it's just boring. The messaging is done to death, the writing is terrible, the acting is terrible. This is terrible entertainment, and if this is the destiny of Disney Star Wars, then Star Wars is indeed double, triple, and quadruple dead. We all know this is unlikely to get another season, but if it does happen, this is down to Disney's commitment to ESG and politics, not because the show's good and because people are enjoying it. Jesus, this sucked. But don't worry, in episode 4, we have pronouns. Anyway, that is all you get, and all I can take. Erebus.
Sorry, did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Fucking pronouns! Fucking gender ambiguity! Fucking current day Californian shit! Because that's all we fucking know! Because we're boring! We're so fucking boring!